You may disagree with me on this next story. Chances are you're going to say that I'm exaggerating when I ask, is the Great Britain going broke? Can England call itself a rich nation anymore, or has the UK growth story gone bust? These are not just sensational headlines, but pertinent questions which we need to ask tonight. Let me start by telling you about life in modern-day Britain. A crippling cost of living crisis, crumbling infrastructure, medical staff on strike, a looming recession, all this is squeezing the life out of the people. I'm not saying this. Look at this study. The findings have been published in the journal BMJ Public Health. They say the cost of living crisis will probably cause thousands of premature deaths in the United Kingdom. The crisis is so bad that it's literally cutting life short. The proportion of people dying before their time will rise by 6.5%, all because of high prices. Imagine that. There's more. The rising cost of living will widen the wealth and health gap between the richest and the poorest. The study says that the poorest households will experience 4 times the number of extra deaths than the wealthiest homes in the UK. It's a story we've told you before and will continue to tell you. The Great Britain is in a great mess. It is drowning in a cocktail of crises. Millions of Britons are battling levels of inflation not seen since the 1970s. Energy costs are soaring. Britons are dipping into their savings to make ends meet. The war in Ukraine, pandemic fallout, Brexit, all these have been cited as reasons for Britain's problems. But at the heart of it is poor economic policy and governance. Have you heard of the HS2 or the High-Speed 2 rail project? Some call it Britain's biggest and craziest infrastructure project. It is intended to be Britain's zero-carbon high-speed railway, the biggest rail investment ever made in the north of England. And now it seems the rail project is derailed. The project is mired in a long list of never-ending bills. The Financial Times reported that the project's £70 billion price tag is set to be revised upwards. With inflation, the price tag may go up to £91 billion. That's no joke. Well, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak is worried. He's considering shortening this ambitious rail project. Mounting costs are derailing this rail project. And this project is just part of Sunak's many headaches. Infrastructure in the UK is not exactly getting glowing reviews. Schools are crumbling, literally. City councils are failing. The Birmingham City Council, the largest in Europe, has declared bankruptcy. England's local authorities are gasping for air. In this case, gasping for funds. Rishi Sunak's office said that it's for local councils to manage their own budgets. Well, it's not so simple, is it? When Britain's second biggest city effectively declares itself bankrupt, shutting down all essential services, it begs the question, is the Great Britain going broke? Does the government have any money to spend? Britain has its back against the wall. Experts say the UK has been living beyond its means in every way. Mark Carney, the former governor of the Bank of England, was spot on when he described the UK as being reliant on the kindness of strangers to finance its deficits. Today, the Great Britain is making headlines not for its quality of life or its healthcare, but for cutting the life of Britons short. Just look at the country's healthcare system, the National Health Service. Ambulance services with record-long waiting times, never-ending strikes from healthcare professionals, 1 million appointments cancelled, life-saving surgeries put on hold, diagnostic tests delayed. Welcome to Broken Britain 2023, a country on the brink of recession. We told you about rapid job cuts in the private sector. Productivity at work is declining now. A new survey shows that British workers took the most sick leaves in more than a decade during the past 1 year. The survey blames it on poor health following the pandemic, but it's not just the pandemic to blame. The UK's cost of living crisis is impacting people's mental health too. Stress was one of the biggest reasons that led to a rise in workplace absence over the past 1 year. So what's the way out of this great mess? Well, the Prime Minister has made reducing inflation one of his key priorities. He wants to reduce debt, avoid a recession. Unfortunately, the British don't have much faith in his skills to navigate Britain out of this mess. According to a recent poll, Sunak ranks below several Tory MPs when it comes to handling the UK economy. The only solace for him is that he ranks higher than Liz Truss, the shortest-serving British Prime Minister, which says a lot. WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.